Talk about doing things backwards. Talk about doing things backwards. Talk about every way. Talk about every way in which you can fail. And I found a way to make it fail. Jay Tillman, as I stated again, the L is being taken all across the board for your boy right now. And I know you can hear me now, but I know you couldn't hear me before.
Hey, that's okay, man.
And I know exactly why.
Rewind it, play it back.
Play it back, and I know exactly why you couldn't hear me, because I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
There we go. You got some finally. And I've been talking about a whole bunch of nothing for 30 minutes. We have sound. We have video. I'm finally not the biggest loser of the stream. Work on that, Ty Pro. That's how. If I don't know how to lose an audience, I know how to lose an audience. But we ain't gonna lose no football game. We ain't gonna talk about it.
Oh no, y'all gonna lose football game. But sure, that's what y'all gonna do Sunday. Is y'all ain't no front seven like this come out. Caleb ain't never had no front seven come out to him like you gonna have Saturday. I mean Sunday.
You believe it?
But we gonna get in.
Rally the boys. Let's go, man. Hey, they're about to make a stop for you right now. You're gonna go just do your job. Just do your job and just throw it till you catch it and just run and protect it. O-line.
Truth game.
Here we go. This ball.
Jay Tillman, welcome in.
20-17 Giants.
Top Pro Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea. Everybody.
Salute, Chelsea.
Snap at a play fake. Williams rolling to his left, running now. Touchdown, Caleb Williams. Took it.
3rd and 10. Given time before handoff Menendez. Tackle. Comes over. He's got to find a way to make.
I'm telling you, when you think about it, it's the minor nuances in production like this right here, and these are the things I get to learn throughout the course of my YouTube journey. These are the things that make or break some of the growth in your channel, Jay Walker. And while it may not be a long-term detriment, it has to be just like in the game. I get to go back and watch the film, watch the game tape, and see how I can improve on things that I've not done so well. But nonetheless, we're going to get into what I think is a step up in class when we talk about videos.
Pittsburgh is a place that has a language all its own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In Pittsburgh is of Steelers football.
Caleb's escapability.
That's our motto.
Everybody been talking about all week.
But handle business. That's what the standard is. The standard means every single time I say it.
The Steel City.
We about to get into what G Honda calls splash plays. And y'all stay tuned for the next live with me and Chelsea to see what these splash plays live up to.
Man, in the growth and
3 a.m.
development
Salute
of
to
this
you,
thing,
my boy.
man, I'm talking to you about norms, expectations,
salute.
mindsets that you should have. And it's always good to acknowledge reasonable expectations.
Rachel Q.
We always got to kick out.
I miss that guy.
G Honda splash plays. Rachel, how we feeling today?
Jobs is not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Stephen James.
Anyone else?
I'm an OPS.
Thank you. Anybody
Yeah.
asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
It would have been so. Give me a minute. Ain't no wet splash.
It don't mean a thing if you ain't got big brain. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got big brain.
Of Steelers football.
The standard is the standard. That's our motto. That's our creed.
And we behind the
that's our
scenes
approach.
until this worthless video finishes, Rach. I mean, to G Honda's wonderful. We had to let the best part of the Steelers and G Honda be shown, because the standard is a standard, and they have a standard for a video. What they don't have is a standard for a good team this year, and so that's my personal barb and opinion about the Steelers. Nonetheless, we're gonna try to have an honest and fair assessment of a breakdown, give you some statistical data that will give everybody an opportunity to understand where these two teams rank as far as the season goes. And if we can, throughout the course of it, I know everybody might not have a vested interest in football, but I'm going to ask y'all, for the purposes of bets and to make us feel good, take a side. I need you to pick a side today. We might be able to put a poll together, but we're going to state cases for said argument before y'all choose as to who you think wins between the Grizzly Bears that delivered a good mail out here or the Steel City Giraffes. We're going to go through all the breakdowns. We're going to try to give you some statistical data for the Bears. I know G Honda got some things that he wants to make points about when it comes to the Steelers. Without those types of things being given to you, I don't know that you can make a decision, just much like G Honda made the bad decision of being a Steelers fan. With that being said, my beloved Bears, this year and this year alone, under the new tutelage of head coach Ben Johnson, rank number 6 in offense, in points per game, I should say. We are second in the league in our rushing attack, 13th overall, albeit in passing offense per game, and there's 25.8 points a game. G Honda, like I said, put us in number 6 for the league. Third down conversions, we at a modest 41%, which is what we would classify as something that we need to work on. At least I would say we got to work on. And a snapshot on the other side, we got 24.6 points a game for your Steel City boys, so not too far behind in terms of their offensive output. You do have one of my, in case anybody does not know, real backstory before I give you more. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is what I would classify as the epitome of a thorn in one side, playing for the Green Bay Packers, who would classify as our rival at some points, although I can't call it a rivalry, how they beat us. Aaron plays for the Steelers now, and he has drastically in ways improved our offense, but we're going to find out if it makes a difference the same way it did in Green Bay. He is the passing leader in this game right here, 1,969 passing yards after 10 games, 19 touchdowns. He got 7 interceptions as well. Caleb is slightly behind that with 1,939. Don't have as many touchdowns with 14 and 4 interceptions. So they pretty much, his idol is who he's going up against this week, allegedly. G Honda, if you can, before we get into anything else, we got a quick injury report. You follow closely along with your team. Is Aaron Rodgers suiting up to play this week? G Honda audio on low battery too. We don't hear the giraffe. Let's find out why we don't hear a young G Honda. If you want, unmute yourself or go out of the Discord and pop back in.
This Sunday.
There we come on.
Personal opinion, and we can afford to give. Can't hear me?
You chewing on the microphone.
Can you hear me?
Still muffled. Let's check out what's going wrong with G Honda.
Can you hear me?
Chat. I can hear him better. Can you hear him?
All right. Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can, but would this be a panel? You know what? I still can't. It's still muffled, G. That's why I said step in and step back out. Perhaps for on your Discord. Devices. Absolutely not. Pool man, welcome in. How you feeling today? We trying to get G Honda's audio done.
No.
Absolutely. Good sir.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Nope. Just that fast. I don't get it.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, mailbox?
I can.
Oh, get on. You want me to go on?
Okay. So the situation at hand, in my personal opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers will not be suiting up and playing on Sunday. I believe Mason Rudolph will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday at 1 p.m. And, Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old, I believe he injured his throwing hand. He appears to have a fractured wrist. And he can afford to take some time off to heal and recover because we will need him down the road. But I believe Mason Rudolph will be stepping in Sunday and soon in Sunday, a starting quarterback for the Steelers.
And is there a drop off to play in your estimation from Mason to Aaron these days in terms of productivity? Not performance of the individual quarterback, but in terms of the actual way in which the team may be able to function.
My personal opinion, I think production has been subpar, especially on the offensive side, being that we rank far at the bottom in the run game, as well as the pass defense. Because as you well know, JPJ, he can't cover a plate of picnic food, but he has that nepotism of which his father, Joey Porter, is a Ring of Honor type player. Which, of course, but if you've been paying attention to JPJ, he's been getting cooked like hibachi from pretty much everybody, but he's making progressions nonetheless. But our run defense have been stellar and have been getting significant stops to where I believe we are ranked 13th in the run stop, which I think is going to get back, defending DeAndre Swift and Nungai. Which also, in my personal opinion, I believe this game is going to come down to whose offensive line is more dominant, being that you guys will have to do everything in your power and miracle from God to stop TJ Watt in that front seven from coming to get Caleb. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. But as far as that pass defense will be competitive, but if we can't put a cease to Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams will have to win this game in the pocket.
You believe so?
There's no way, shape, form. There's no way, shape, form. Caleb. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion. Caleb is going to be a mobile quarterback playing this game because our front seven is too athletic. we have too many guys too many linebackers and DBs that's too fast. And if Caleb Williams gets hit and gets touched, we got to see how he's gonna recover from this.
Okay. You see me taking shots.
We definitely got to see how Caleb Williams gonna get recovered from getting hit.
You put me on hush.
He will get touched.
Well, one, you said your offensive line is ranked 13th in stopping the run. So
no, the defense.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant to say. So I'm interested in seeing how your run defense at 13 compares to my number 2. And I do have a question because we talked about line play. Where does, if you have it in front of you, where does your offensive line rank in terms of their performance? PFF grades, if you have one.
Aside from your initial question, you saw what the Colts looked like before they stepped on the field with Steelers, and you saw how that happened. So how it went with Jalen Act, but how it. So to answer your question, us ranked 13 in the run defense, and y'all ranked number 2. You say y'all ranked number 2 in the run.
What do you? I thought you were showing.
You say the Bears are ranked number 2 in the run game?
Number 2 in the run game. The last statement.
Okay. So, like I said before, y'all never stood before 7 like this. So they will mention, and not to sneeze or insult y'all strength of schedule, but we got the hardest schedule of anybody. So, but if you look at our personnel, it may be a bit underrated in paper. It may right now. I will admit that, but until you step on the field against that front 7, it's just something different. I mean, you saw how you it out with Baltimore, and it didn't go. It really will. No offense. This is a different animal for Caleb. I think Caleb is going to be on his heels on Sunday.
Okay, let me tell you where the fallacy lies in that. One, we ran the ball 19 times against Baltimore, and the issue in that game was what we talked about to start with, which is touchdowns to field goals. Welcome in, Mr. Walker. And yes, I do believe T.J. Watt, is he playing? Don't really matter. Get the trunk. My number 2 rush defense, along with my number 7 ranked offensive line, does not affected by what you classify as your performance or the teams we've played.
Do you think rank plays a factor? Do you honestly believe
it does when I know my personnel? Yes, and I've seen your team play this year, and I know that this pseudo rank that you Highsmith, is he playing?
He's been practicing. He's been limited all week in practice.
Limited all week. G Honda is sore too.
TJ will be playing. Peyton Wilson will be playing. Nick Herbig
will be playing. And
so most of them, say again.
I said most of them playing, right?
Yeah, the majority of the front 7 will be playing.
And see, Chelsea,
on Sunday.
I can't correct G Honda on the injury report because, as we said, G Honda know how to put together a video, but the sport itself, I can't tell G Honda that it's actually his non-throwing hand that he has a slight fracture in, because that's not my concern, especially when I want Aaron Rodgers to play for my own selfish reasons. 2, when I understand that I have a play caller that schemes together a run game like no other, and he calls plays in a masterful or wizardous type of way, I have absolutely no shaking faith in whatever particular run defense was put in front of me. I speak of it in this context. The Washington Commanders had a bottom level run defense before we saw them. The week after we played, and it's not coming to me, and I want to misquote in terms of speaking on the team with their run ranking defense, but that was not a low ranking run defense, and we try to act like the Vikings don't have a superior defensive front. The Giants have a superior defensive front. Even the Commanders with Payne and the young boy that they drafted years ago, like Frankie Louvo's and things of that nature, it doesn't mitigate that Ben himself is a mastermind, and I trust Ben's play calling versus your defense on any given day. Nonetheless, when we do think about those types of things, Alex Highsmith having that pec injury does give me pause to believe that he'll be out there. Maybe he did practice in a limited capacity, but that would lend to me more of a question as to whether he starts next week as opposed to this week. Nonetheless, we run away from no challenge. As we saw the moniker before we started, good, better, best is exactly how we go about attacking things on the day-to-day. We have progressed in 3 particular phases, as I like to call it for Ben, which is hope, belief, and knowing. I have seen the team from week 1 to week 11 progress from belief and hope to a point that while many of our wins have been projected as fluky, you still have to have a prove it aspect because we have not had much success in recent years. So I understand the trepidation that goes along with it. What I don't seem to have anybody totally understand is that while you guys in Pittsburgh have a standard, Ben Johnson in Detroit for the last 5 years has established a very silent but loud standard without saying it out loud. And what he's been able to do, I say that because he's an assistant coach. He has no particular wings or backing to purport a message as an OC. But this year, as my head coach, he gets to bring his proven offensive philosophy that has given you nothing but sustained success and proven results in the last 5 years. And now he has the leadership role along with the people that he's insulated around him because he hand chose the job. So he has an understanding or belief in the talent. I have unwavering faith in that guy in the way in which he's able to prove just as much about his standard to have me go from hope to belief to knowing that when I come up against anybody's given front seven, there is a lot more Missouri going on the football field. And by that, if anybody does not know, Missouri is called the Show Me State. I would like to see that you show me how good this defense is because my team has been on a constant show me tour, and they will not deviate from that. We're 7-3. You are 6-4. Go right ahead. What you got for me?
Mailbox.
Yep.
Mailbox.
Yep.
Look at y'all strength of schedule.
I don't care about strength of schedule. That mean, please do me a favor before we get into your worthless diatribe. Strength of schedule means nothing because when the season started, my strength of schedule was number 2 when the season started. So what does that mean, G Honda? Right now, when the season started, they said meaning the schedule masters and everybody. Hear me out.
Look at what the Colts was before they played us. Look at what the Colts was before we played us, and what we did to the Colts.
Guess what?
Did we do to the Colts?
So you can tell me that the Colts are fugazi. G Honda. G Honda.
6 takeaways. Easy one.
Are you not okay? So I turned the ball over the least in the league. What is he talking about? Not Daniel Jones. I'm not him. What I can tell you about my quarterback, and he's still developing a lot of things. What he don't do is turn the ball over.
It's easier not to turn the ball over against personnel that's not going to pressure you.
Okay, so once again, let's bring it. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go back, everybody.
That's why I said your O line has to show up. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe giraffes don't have good ears, everybody. I want him to understand that he can tell me all of this he wants. I need to see those things because I have seen my team that at the beginning of the season, when they come up with these things called a schedule release, everyone. A schedule release is when they come up with everybody in your schedule and they tabulate last year's record to determine what they quantify as a strength of schedule. And when the season started, the Bears, not the Steelers, the Steelers didn't have number 1, number 2, not even top 10. The Bears allegedly had the number 3 hardest schedule in the league. I railed against that. You can go back. Hold on. You can go back in my playlist, and you can find out that I vehemently disagree with the false premise of strength of schedule, and this is why: injury, free agency, draft, coaching changes, all of those things, amongst other things, totally confluence to change the narrative of what happened last year. Every league and every sport is what have you done for me lately. And so while, prime example, Jaden Daniels was the glowing darling child of the league last year, and the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game. Before the season started, that was an ultimate matchup for the Bears, a revenge game that we lost. That same team beat the Lions in it to get to the NFC Championship game. That team this year, their record is off the rails. They are losing. Their season is all sugar to shit. Their quarterback has not had the season that anybody thought he was going to have, even when he was healthy. And so last year, he was, 12-5 or 11-6? This year, that team will finish with about 5 or 6 wins. So I say to you, Giraffe, I don't care about the fake strength of schedules that we talk about, nor do I care about the thought that you have this over exuberant schedule, because you have played the Cincinnati Bengals how many times this year? How many times you played trash in a can called the Cincinnati Bengals? I'm waiting. Tell me your schedule.
What they got to do with us?
No, read your schedule. This is what it has to do with. I'm going to tell you. We're 7-3.
Go ahead.
We're 7-3, and you say we've beaten nobody. So, conversely, did you not? What you do? Go ahead. You said strength of schedule. Go ahead. What's your rebuttal? Your signal is just as bad as your response. Go ahead.
You have not beaten a contender.
Okay, a contender meaning somebody who's going to be in playoff contention this year. And you beaten one, and now you the big bad team that's 6-4, while I'm 7-3. Are you in a bear fight to hold on to your division lead?
One more win.
Huh? No, I said who have you played? I said who have you played?
What big a deal is that?
No, I asked you who have you played, because you tried to poke holes in who we play, like we don't understand in this league. Go ahead. Because we'll scale it back and tell everybody about the backstory we talked about with parity in the league, and how worst to first is the biggest thing to do in football, everybody. What worst to first means is a team that was in last place last year in football has the greatest opportunity to be in first place in the next year. Give you an example. My Bears finished last year 5-12, and they were in last place. Fast forward to week 12 this year, my Bears step on the field against his Steelers in the same place that his Steelers are, in first place in my division. And so I asked, since he wants to poke holes in the difficulty of my schedule, he has yet, ladies and gentlemen in court, to tell me who he has played so that we can try to ascertain whether or not his team has played anybody, because I have seen his team play. They're not impressive to me, especially his quarterback. Their offense is very flawed. Their defense is very good. My defense, while flawed, leads the league in takeaways and interceptions. So they can say this is a fluky metric.
Is that not what I just said about my team and our rankings? Is that not what I just said about our defense being, our run stop being ranked 15 and our pass defense being turmoil?
Okay.
Did I not just say that?
And then I say my offense is great. Dare I say, and haven't played a complete game yet. That's right, and haven't played a complete game. Yeah, when you top 10 in the league and number 6, I'm being hyperbolic in the use of the term. But yes, you have great, good, and terrible. That means the bottom half of the bottom third of the league, terrible. Top third, great. In the middle, mediocre. Where your team fits. It's what I'm saying is, My offense, to every defensive metric you've given me very, what I would call average, because 13th is the highest you gave me on in a defensive metric. And while I respect the personnel you have, numbers, because you try to give me numbers indicating strength of schedule will mean victories, and that quantifies into numbers, meaning the record of the teams that I've played against. So, by number metric, I'm telling you that if 13th is the best you got, and number 2 and number 6 and number 13 is the best I got, I like my 13 at pass offense along with my number 2 at rush offense that equates to my number 6 in scoring. Where's your scoring defense at? Because if you're not going to tell me you're a top 10 scoring defense, I am a top 10 scoring offense. And I look to be better because we have not hit all stride in any way. Would you disagree? You haven't seen most of my games because you've been part of most of my streams listening in. We've not played any game in totality. True or false?
What happened the last time y'all stepped on the field with an AFC North team? Y'all got smacked by the Ravens. Stop it, dude.
Do y'all see?
Stop it,
do you see how?
Y'all got smacked? Stop.
Do y'all see how we can play? Are you a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan?
Stop it. Stop it, bro. Stop.
Are we a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan?
Y'all got smacked. Y'all got smacked. Last time y'all stepped on the field with an AFC North, y'all got smacked, bro. Stop it.
Lee Turner.
Stop it, bro.
Before we move to the next segment, I just want to let everybody understand. The guy that sits to my side just indicated to me that playing against another team in his division that is not his team, and that means because how we perform against that team is not an indicator, but it's the gospel about how his team will play. Is he a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan? I think he's a Ravens fan wearing a terrible towel on his head because his takes are terrible right now. Talk to me about the Steelers. Well, it tells me everything you need to know when he says worser, because that's not a word, just like your fandom of the Steelers. You are not a Steeler fan because we came here, I thought the thumbnail said Bears Steelers, and G Honda is talking about the Baltimore Ravens. So again,
a team you lost to.
A team. Have you played them yet?
A team you lost to.
You played them yet?
Come on.
You played them yet?
A team you lost.
Yes, we did. Have you played? No. Have you played them?
They coming up.
You see? Do you? So we will find. We will stay tuned. Stay tuned for G Honda and his Baltimore sagas. But until then, let's focus on the game that comes up this week when I get to put belt to ass to the Steelers because he's trying to do what y'all see it on Kendrick G. It's called deflecting. I'm asking him about the Steelers. He's talking about the Ravens. What the hell did that got to do with anything? I digress. My team is giving with four. Go ahead.
Nice word salad.
How many sacks y'all got this year?
Nice word salad. But you know.
Nah.
What the game? Huh?
I said nah, but go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. How many sacks y'all got this year?
Come on, man. Come on. You know what that dog, man. You even some. Come on.
No, I don't. I don't want to hear you pontificate about nothing. I want stats to your team to tell me how good they are. Because otherwise, you conflating things already, and now he's gonna start throwing how good the Steelers used to be around. My team. If you notice in the video, everybody, I had something called Monsters of the Midway. That is a moniker that my team earned in the '80s for how great and ferocious they played defense, as did in the '70s. Exactly. As did in the '70s, the Steelers earned something called the steel curtain. This is what I'm asking y'all. This is what I'm telling y'all to say.
Past tense.
That's right. Past tense for the steel curtain. Just like the Monsters of the Midway, they no longer exist. And G Honda would like you to believe that they still exist by not giving me numbers when I ask how many sacks does your team have? Because my quarterback has been sacked 14 times. One of the fewest in the league. So how ferocious is this wonderful defense of yours? How much do they get to the quarterback? Sacks. Don't tell in your G Honda splash analysis. Give me that.
When okay. So let's take it back. So if you go back to Burrow's second year when he went to the Super Bowl, I know you remember that. They went to the Super Bowl, they lost to Cincinnati Bengals. No. They lost to the Rams. I'm sorry. So Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they go to the Super Bowl and they lose to the Rams. Shout out to them. Aaron Donald won the, I believe Rams won. But however, that AFC Championship en route to going Super Bowl, you know what I mean? You remember how many times Joe Burrow was and so won the AFC? He was sacked numerous times and still went to the Super Bowl. So, but y'all haven't seen the friend Steelers front. But respectfully, y'all at the top of y'all division. Y'all number one in y'all division. We number one in our division. The rankings and the numbers is what it is. However, you gotta step on. I mean, if you're the one that put such a heavy emphasis on rankings, then what happened against the Colts would not have happened.
Mm-hmm. So how many turnovers did y'all have in that game?
Say what?
How many turnovers did y'all have in that Colts game? How many takeaways did y'all get?
It was 6 takeaways.
6 takeaways?
6 takeaways.
All right, chat. If y'all realize, I asked G Honda 2 questions ago how many damn sacks his team had. He ain't answered it yet. But I asked him something to make them look good in this one raggedy-ass game, and he showed no about them 6 turnovers. How many sacks does your team have this year, G Honda? If you don't know, just say you don't know. If you don't know, just say you don't know. We can move past it. And here we go. Put a mailbox in the chat if you think G Honda windmilling like HQ. Put a giraffe in the chat if you think I got no business answering that question. And we'll move along. Hit the like button. Three major keys to victory out here, because in every game you got things that we want to see happen. G Honda has already alluded to the fact that my quarterback, what fans have come to call it, is a whirly bird. My quarterback is one of the most evasive and elusive quarterbacks in the pocket. Some people who don't see that in that way, who not football educated enough to understand that he evades the pocket and yet keeps his eyes on the progression up the field as opposed to just spinning out to run. And so I want to know, in keys to the games, what types of things would be indicative of how you are actually going to win a game. And so this is what I think for my team to be able to win a game will be most imperative moving forward for us on Sunday. And G Honda, in his own way, is going to tell me the things that he thinks would have the Steelers walk away with a victory. Like I told you, we number 2 in rush yards per game. I do trust my offensive line and my offensive execution implicitly. And I think that you need to control the line of scrimmage, as he's indicated already. But I need to run at Mr. Watt. I'm trying to put all the wattage on the field at one time, meaning I got a 2-headed monster and running back that I want to pound consistently right at the problem. In football, what I've come to know about any sport, I should say, you target the weak spot most times. When it comes to a rushing attack, you want to target the strongest part. And this is why. If you allow TJ Watt to have his way, which is to chase you down, he will be a straight predator and ruin your game a la Max Crosby and totally give you fits for the course of it. However, if you are able to segue and realize that the best way to knock this door down is to keep battering right into it, it gives you ultimate carte blanche to have him at some point get tired of all of the traffic coming his way. And now he might avoid them traffic jams just a bit more than what he would have initially if he had a clear path to running back or the quarterback. Derrick Gaines, welcome in. The Bears do suck until proven otherwise. Schooling too better. I am born and raised in Chicago. I live in the Mistake by the Lake, a.k.a. Cleveland, Ohio. One of G Honda's bitter rivals, and they're going to give him fits this year. And when he loses to the Browns, I don't want to hear nothing about it. Nonetheless, we're going to leave other teams out of this right here. If the Bears' run game can continue to do the things that we needed to do, we limit the offensive opportunities for either Rodgers or Rudolph to be on the field. And I think that limits the big play ability of a DK Metcalf, which further reduces the opportunity for my secondary to be exposed due to a lack of a front seven that I have. Pass rush is not something that we thrive in. And so, although we don't thrive in said area, I emphasize that the 17 of our 22 takeaways are interceptions, albeit the most opportunistic of takeaways. The fumble is something that's more, I think, authentic, and you can create it again or recreate more so. I think the ball hawking ability that they have shown without having pass rush gives only credence to the fact that if they even had that, and there are games when you type in all caps and you're a Bears hater by nature, it's going to time you out. We don't want you to be timed out. So you ain't got to talk nicely, but talk in small letters when you talk about my Bears. Anyhow, pressure and disrupt Mason Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Now, if he's not out there, because I fear Mason Rudolph a bit more than Aaron Rodgers because of his ability to go vertical. I think he has, at this point, while he's not as savvy and smart to break down our defense like Aaron can, he has a stronger arm to deliver those, what we call a normal splash play. And I think those can be totally devastating when you got somebody like Darnell Washington, who was a defensive end in a tight end's body, and you got DK Metcalf, who's probably about 6'7" himself. So both of them give me real concern when it comes to what my team doesn't do well in terms of pass defense right now and defense on the whole. But what we can rest our laurels on is realizing that we are opportunistic defense and that those takeaways, while maybe not something that you can sustain year to year, this season they have done nothing to show themselves to not be available except for, I believe, one game this year. So until proven otherwise, that is more the norm than not.
I'm gonna tell you wrong.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you where you're erroneous. So
Okay.
Mason Rudolph, we're not expecting him to do a lot. So like the whole game manager and the whole game changer, whole concept situation. All right. So we're not expecting Mason Rudolph to do, nowhere near what A-Rod can do, especially when we got, solid backs like Jalen Warren and of course, Kenneth Gainwell. Shout out to Kenneth Gainwell, last year's champion with Philly. But if they can get that run established, that's gonna play a heavy factor. And of course, like I said before, with our O line, who's gonna have the bigger O line presence? If we could create those seams, create those gaps, and move with that slide protection. I mean, based on who line shows up, I believe that's who's going to take it. But as far as but you're not wrong in a sense with DK Metcalf being a factor or Darnell Washington. But I would imagine, with I believe y'all safety is Bayard and
Brisker, Quantity B, baby.
What's it? Okay, yeah. So I believe they're gonna try to put a hat on DK. I believe they're gonna put a hat on him with the zone coverage and such. And yeah, I mean, I think in have to be a low scoring game because I don't think they're gonna allow Steelers with the play of Calvin Austin, DK, and even to beat them deep. So I mean, that may play a factor. I mean, all based on this O line and how our run game produces, which I think they gonna let them play too. So it's not going to be as many penalties called out on these.
And when we talk about penalties, my team has drastically reduced or eliminated the pre-snap penalty. They are still growing, and albeit it's not December quite yet, my coach has a timeline for us to be playing our peak football in December and January. If we are what I would classify as 7-3, and it's more so the opportunity for the learning how to win. And I do thank the schedule for being soft enough for my team to be able to learn on the job, per se, if you would like to call it that. You do realize that the blessings of injury and all the fortune that comes to your way oftentimes classifies itself as a charm season. And with that being said, you absolutely want to see that in the maturation of my quarterback in the offense that we have not put out maximum effort just yet. And the thought process that it has not hit just yet, and we still are sixth in the league. And one of the most important things, oftentimes people talk about passing yards and rushing yards and how many total yards you give up and don't. I could care less about that because the end of the game, last time I checked, they don't care how many yards you gave up, G Honda. They care how many points you scored. And so while we can fantasize about the things like you said when we talk about numbers, those are the numbers that matter very little to me, because we talk about your G Honda splash plays. To have that pick six when you have had let's say I give up 422 yards in this game.
You say numbers,
Again?
When you say numbers, you're referring to rankings or actual production?
I'm referring to the confluence of all of them, i.e., a ranking would tell you that I'm number 7 in PFF. My points per game show you that I'm number 6 in the league. That's not a ranking based on anybody's judgment. That's actually what they put out. That's like you really nice, not what somebody think of you. Conversely, I'm 6, and it's like when you talk about in athletics, and Mr. Walker may be able to speak to it. Well, I know he's speaking a bit better than me because I'm a baseball player. Nonetheless, people who have absolute raw talent and they haven't peaked in terms of actually learning the fundamentals and the other nuances of the game. And once they learn those, watch out. I believe, just like Cash does with the Bart, that my quarterback has very much improved this year. But in terms of improvement, he still has about 52% left to go. And I think that those types of things, along with the fact that my coach is the ultimate training wheel until he learns how to ride the bike perfectly, I think it gives my team the ultimate know-how to combat the things that you speak about when it comes to your front seven and things like that. I think my coach is a hybrid coach. He doesn't have a particular style of play. He does things that he needs to have come about in terms of each individual matchup. And just so we can give an aside, Cousin Walker, Derek Gaines came in swinging, but when you say things like the Bears haven't been relevant since Rashawn Salam, it tells me that I can disengage, and I'll tell you why. Rashawn Salam came from Colorado, and he won the Heisman in 1994, and he played for the Bears. And I went to a Buccaneers game in which we lost, and he fumbled in. We were 4-12 that year. So not did we have one winning season while Rashawn Salam played for my team. So for him to indicate that that's the glory days and totally dismiss Lovey and his Super Bowl appearance, let alone all of his above 500 records except for his rookie season, shows me that he don't watch football, and I can disengage and get back to talking to G Honda. We'll move along. Special teams. Go ahead, real fast.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so being that we took, and back on my story. So all right. So when we go back to the Bears' last championship with Mike Ditka, and you have like Lovie Smith. Shout out to Lovie Smith, good coach. Went to Super Bowl in 06, but you have owners and you have your franchise that you have franchises that actually build teams, and you got franchises that's just good businessmen. So do you think during that time period, Bears franchise was just being good businessmen?
Yes,
instead of actually building the franchise.
Let me give you a history story so you can understand. And they were, to answer your question, they were until the hiring of Kevin Warren. My team was a replica of the Bulls, a business model, a mom and pop business, no less. This will be the first year that the Bears are going to break ground to own our own stadium. You are one of the founding franchises of the league, and you've had the opportunity to own your stadium for a while, yet you've chosen to pay rent and do things that are not becoming of a model franchise in that regard. That's the start. Secondly, 1983. Papa, give me a moment. Papa Bear died in 1979, I believe. George Hallis. Muggsy, as his son was called, ran the team until 1983. Muggsy passed untimely at 1943, and that's when control of the team forwarded to one Virginia McCaskey. On the side of every jersey for the Bears, they have 3 letters, GSH. That stands for George S. Hallis. The NFC Championship trophy, as you know, is named after George Hallis. Muggsy, his last name is Hallis. I told you in 83 they forwarded their leadership to who? Virginia McCaskey. Albeit a Hallis in her own maiden name, you have ceded power of a football family to a family in the McCaskeys of accountants. They're not football people. Michael's family and everybody were accountant numbers people, and so it's a family business.
Exactly.
And until last year, when Kevin Warren was appointed to my team as a GM, a president, which we've never had. 3 years before that was the first time we had a GM since 2002. We've had like a combo guy that ran the whole thing. We've never had team president, GM. So you see the dysfunction even in the way in which you hire and do everything. Guess you got one person doing everything. So that's dysfunctional to say the least. I will not try to infer or infuse, and I give it to you just even last year. Matt Eberflus had in his career a 14-game losing streak and a 10-game in his 3 years with the Bears. Ben Johnson in 1 year is 7-3. What would I have to compare besides the actual success in the games that I've watched one coach fall flat on his face in juxtaposition totally to the other guy that is here now that has not only shown me in my own division the lovable losers known as the Detroit Lions are not so lovable, and they are not lying anymore. Ask Ty Pro about his own team. For years, Wayne Fonts, Barry Sanders, and all those guys were the team we picked to finish last all the time. They are not that anymore and can't be taken lightly. And although they coach Dan Campbell, it's largely the credit for that. Anthony Lynn, John Morton, those are 2 OCs that Dan Campbell had. In between that, he had the guy that gave him 5 years of success. That's Ben Johnson. That's my head coach. And that good, better, best mantra has gotten them to a 7-3 start in games last year. Case in point, the Washington game, which we were winning before a Hail Mary. We found a way to lose. So every game that we won this year, skin of your teeth, luck of the draw, against inferior opponents, I saw us lose 10 straight games against inferior opponents. The New England Patriots last year under Gerard Mayo were a lottery picking team. And they picked offensive lineman Will Campbell because of that coach. This year, you just told me about them, and they are sitting pretty in first place, and almost first place in the whole conference, probably, I believe, in the AFC. And that's Mike Vrabel, his coaching philosophy, and the way he's changed some things. And so while I've seen my coach be changed out by a GM who finally gets to pick his first coach, this is his first hire. The first one was an arranged marriage. I got a president who has changed the way in which we even recruit coaches. This year, in my 44 years of living, we have an all-star coaching staff. Not one name that you may have heard of and a whole bunch of cronies to go along with it. We got people that got Eric Bieniemy, Al Harris, Dan Rauscher, Dennis Allen. Those got Antoine Randall. You know the work ethic and the success of those guys, and they are different. And so if you know better, you do better. Kevin Warren has infused a base of knowledge into my team that is my X factor. Because he knows how to operate a successful franchise, he came to my team to to infuse and impose upon the owners what you need to do to run a modern business and thrive and still be a business, but be a successful business. And these days, like the Steelers, who have the chronicle of stability, and you have shown a model of success, I understand that from watching, even from your perch and seeing your team, I know what it looks like, and I can look at my team now, not worried about 86, 2006, 16. All of that don't mean a hill of beans because it is today. This coach was not here for any of the things you speak of. I'm a Cubs fan. It took us 108 years to win a World Series. I'm not going to hold Joe Madden accountable for what happened for Dusty Baker, Lou Piniella, and whoever else you want to pick. He had nothing to do with that, nor did the players unless you were here.
But your front office do play a huge factor.
And I just told you about that. My front office is restructured and operates in a different way.
Right.
So that means something. Right. So you can't hold me to the standard of saying that I still operate like a mom and pop shop, when in fact I know factually that they are not these days operating in that capacity. I didn't argue with you about the fact of whether or not they did in the past, but nor will I try to talk about what the past did. In the past, we couldn't vote. You can now. The past has its place, but it does not define my future and understanding what this team is now. In my eyes, in your eyes, everybody knows. Nobody. No, I didn't say you did, but I'm saying
I never said that.
I didn't say you did, but when we talk about my front office and how they operate, we are trying to allude to past practice. Past practice ain't here. I'm talking about the future and what's going on right now in the present. And these cats operate in a way that's commensurate with a successful franchise, and you have seen that forever. I know what it looks like because the best way to learn from, or not to make mistakes, is to learn from other people's. To watch from the outside looking in. You don't got to learn by bumping your head. I can see you bump your head and realize that a giraffe is taller than me, but bumping his head still hurt. So don't bump it. And I know my team is different in that way, as I know my quarterback is different these days. The guy you have on your side with that fractured wrist, I've watched him torch my team forever, and I know how he operates as a quarterback. And so being a desolate franchise who's never seen very much success, I know what dysfunction looks like. So when you expose to function, while you might not call it function, you know it's something different. And I know factually that this quarterback, this one right here, he operates in a space that is vehemently different than what a normal or what my team would have in the past. And so to understand where my team is now versus where it was, I'm in the infancy stages of what your franchise has done. But make no mistake, that does not impede today and where our franchises are based on performance on the field. And you have a coach that I beg for.
I definitely give Bears credit for where they at now, especially the personnel that they have built. Like, Caleb is a solid step up from Kyle Lorden and Jay Cutler. I mean, anybody can see that, right? But of course, and with the personnel that they have, bringing in Colston, and you know how I feel about Colston. Colston, Zacchaeus, and the whole thing. But in that he was, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Loveland was a top 10 pick, if I'm not mistaken. So when I believe I asked you previously when, why they shouldn't make Colston a number one option to where he could come out and produce now. I believe we had that conversation prior. But what was your take on that? I can't recall your take on that.
No, you understand the talent that Colston has, and I understand that. And I also understand that there have been times where my team would not do the things that you see fit to draft talent and infuse your team with said blue chip type of players so that you can compete on an everyday basis. I've seen them try to go with the safe picks. I've even seen that in Pose's tenure. And while Darnell Wright is becoming an all-pro before my eyes now, it took a few years. And it was a safe pick as opposed to Jalen Carter because you had an opportunity to get him. Nonetheless, now you have an infrastructure that says, I can handle what you throw at me, and I can take on a player like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Because 2 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case. We couldn't have handled it because the coaching staff wouldn't have been there. And so those types of things give me the opportunity to understand that my line has changed. My coach has said things that match up with his actions. And the only things that I have any doubt about would be special teams on the whole and your ability to have big plays, because you won't say splash plays, so we'll say big plays on offense and special teams, especially. Those are things we still are grasping, due to injury. But injury is no excuse because we've been benefiting from other person's injury. Can't make any excuse about mine, although it does paint a picture of levelness or evenness to understand that my team is not at full strength, even on the field, nor is it performing in full capacity, and they are learning to ride this bike with no training wheels, and it's a beautiful sight for me to see it that way. Unfortunately, it is a new thing, and so since it is new, there are very few people that will give us any credit for it being real, and so your team has a bit more of a track record, as we talked about with front offices in history. You got some X factors for the game. I want to know exactly what things specific or players, coaches, players, dynamics are things that you think are keys to you guys coming away with a victory on Sunday.
I think me personally, shout out to our defensive coach. I think doing a good job of galvanizing the defense and such, as well as the special. Well, of course our special teams. But on the let's start on the defensive side. And this, I think, players still watching this matchup. That's really going to reign key is Nick Herbig, our outside line, or our line, and pit linebacker Peyton Wilson. I think they're going to use factor, stopping mover. I think Chicago's able to get chunk plays with us. Yes, but will they? I think we're going to limit with our safety, Kyle Duggery. He's been playing good ever since we acquired him from New England. I think he's going to keep a lid on those wide receivers, from beating them over the top. So I think, I believe that Nick Herbig and along with pressure, that front seven giving pressure, I think they're going to create more blitz packages to go after Caleb than to send pressure Caleb early. But I think Peyton Wilson and Nick Herbig going to play a strong part in that. As far as the secondary, I think they're going to get some secondary. I mean, I think because Slay and Ramsey is just too old, and you can't put neither of them on single coverage on DJ Moore or even Rome Odunze, especially because I think what top play into their hand, they're going to put JPJ on Rome Odunze, which is, I think, idiotic, but, that will be the best bet, versus him or JPJ or James Pierre on Rome Odunze. But however, I think we're going to zone them early, send the front seven to Caleb early, force them to make, get early takeaways. Also on the offensive side, like I stated with the O-line, the O-line play is definitely going to use pressure, Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, moving the chains consistently, and being dominant over the run, controlling time of possession, which is going to be deemed essential as well. But, not resting heavy on the X factor of Chris Boswell kicking and hooping anything from 60 feet on in. But, we definitely don't want to go back and forth with this offense. That's for sure.
And I can attest to that because when we talk about your defense over there and we talk about explosive plays instead of the G Honda splash, my team is just FYI, we like numbers again. Number 3 in the league in explosive plays. And in case we don't notice people, because most people would not notice, all of the stats that I give you, subtract a game from my team that most teams have, because most teams still haven't had their bye week, where mine had it very early. So I'm under 1 game disadvantage in terms of counting numbers and stats. Yet they still rank very, 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 very highly in these offensive categories without having that extra week compile. So just wanted to say that in week 12, we are on our 11th game, unlike a lot of people who are on their 12th game. And it does matter when we quantify that. Just like we talk about and we say the train is being slowly put onto the tracks, or we building the plane as we fly it, we taking off right now, and that plane is a lot more gas predicted. We're going to give you a little prediction before we wrap it up, because I do believe that we didn't ruffle all of the feathers of a giraffe, if they have feathers. We'll try to test the team based on his knowledge base in the NFL, the things he's seen. He's pretty savvy, and I think they will try to take kill shots early to limit the amount of exposure he has to have, and they can lean later on their run game. That will, in some ways, test our secondary, but the secondary is a bit healthy this week, minus Kyler Gordon. So, JJ, the return of Jalen Johnson, Pro Bowl defensive back to go along with the rest of them. We'll talk about it, how we look at it. If Rodgers sits, Rudolph comes in, and the Steelers may, I would say, rely on the run a bit more. And that's contingent upon Jalen Warren. Nonetheless, my final prediction will be a close game, but not as close as y'all think. 27-20 is what I got us going out there getting. We will get 3 touchdowns. You will see some Cairo Santos field goal sightings, and you will only see Chris Bosh or Boswell or whatever you want to call the guy with no leg, but he got the best leg in the league. Shout out to him. I hope I see him a lot more than I will. Might only see him twice. 27-20, and why? We are at home. Strong run game. Time of possession matters in terms of keeping other people off the field. That injury that we talk about on Aaron Rodgers, if he does not play, could be critical, and I won't try to act like it does not matter. I don't want him to play, but I do. If he don't play, I'm not going to cry one bit, because I do believe it gives us the advantage in understanding that my offense is already on par with being a runaway freight train. My defense has much to be desired, and I do believe that can nullify some of the things that we can do on offense to keep the game as close as it is, where we can't have a runaway. That gives us a slight edge, I believe. If the Steelers win, it's because Aaron was healthy. He's dissected us several times throughout the course of the year. Savage, 20-year vet. It's not a defensive coverage he hasn't seen. Personnel, he's able to attack in ways in which I can only hope that Caleb learns to do so, because it is, in fact, his role model and the guy he looks up to. So I would hope that we don't lose out on critical third downs, able to keep them off the field, make turnovers have been the bane of the existence in our wins. So I do want to keep that turnover machine, or takeaways as we call them in Chicago. I want to keep that going. 22 is not enough when we play against AR 12. I think it's still his number. Who cares? Don't care if it's 18, 24, 36. Who cares what Aaron Rodgers' number is? I want him on the ground as often as possible. And 27-20 is where I got it. G-Honda, what is your wrap up? And give me your predictive score before we take it home and actually get to the game on the field.
I have a 24-14 Steelers. I think the defense, our deep show up and come to play. I think the defense is going to put pressure on Caleb early, cause him to cause more early takeaways for the secondary. Will Loveland and Cole Kmet, if active, have some chain moving plays? Absolutely. They're gonna eat. They're gonna eat good. I even see DJ Moore some good chunking. But however, at the end of the day, I think we take it away with I think that defense is just going to be too much for Caleb, and I think Caleb's going to have to sit in that pocket. But once we get to him and touch him, I think it's going to tell a different story. I got us going in, taking it 24-14.
24-14 on the road. So, chat, if we can, I don't know if we'll be amenable to it, but I want to find a way to hold the journalistic giraffe to what he just said, because I think it sounds absolutely absurd that he thinks all of a sudden his mid-ranked defense is going to stop my top tier offense who don't even know how to ride their bike that good, Chet. He gonna all of a sudden teach us that we can't ride the bike as good as we've been riding it. I find that hard to believe. So I want to find out what, if anything, can we put.
Electric now, sir.
I want to see what we can put. What's at stake, and maybe, just maybe, y'all can find a way for it to be a put up or shut up, cause ain't no way he really believed that. But I'm gonna let that particular he got to laugh before he cries, so we'll let that prediction go. My team and let me give you a backstory real fast. My team ain't scored 14 points all damn year, but all of a sudden that's about to happen. That's cute. That's cute.
Mailbox. Has Caleb ever played the Steelers?
Caleb has never. But while we talk about played the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has played the Bears.
Thank you very much.
And since he wants to try to worry about my quarterback never playing, his team has played several times. They are 1-12 in the last 13 games in Soldier Field. So while we don't care about the past, let's go ahead and be 2-12.
And what is Aaron Rodgers' record against y'all?
25-5. Did he play for the Steelers in any of them games? No. So as I stated, let's be 2-12.
What is the and that's it Sunday. That's if he plays Sunday. He doesn't actually need to play Sunday.
I want the Steelers to be 2-12 against the Bears at home. I ain't talking Aaron Rodgers. That's you don't conflate. Don't get on two trains. The Steelers are who we playing this week. That's where Aaron Rodgers plays right now. Don't matter if Aaron Rodgers wins. If Aaron Rodgers wins, that means the Steelers won. That means the Steelers are 2-12 in this last 13 games. What I am trying to challenge you to do is not be 1-13, because I've already put you at 1-13 after this. Will we be in the NFC Championship game, schooling two better? I will not pencil us into that game at all. What I will say is, in a pragmatic way, the way in which my defense has been opportunistic and my offense is still growing, as you have parity in the league, they have an opportunity. I would give it a 37% chance right now. I won't give it much more than that, but it's only 3 games to get into those particular places. If we were to end the season today, we had a 3 seed. If we win this week, and teams in front of us, because things like that do matter, being the 1 seed would limit the amount of games you have to play. And as far-fetched as that is for my team right now in terms of my estimation, it is not something that is out of the realm, simply because there are many people who didn't have us being 7-3, including Bears fans, not myself, but a lot of them. And so I do understand that parity is what football is in itself, at the collegiate level and at the professional level. Every year is a different year. Only about 3 to 5 teams are consistently the same year in, year out in terms of our expectations. The Steelers, while they used to be one of those 5 or 6, are slowly tipping themselves back into the middle of the pack, and that's due to quarterback play. You are don't try to deny it. I don't pencil you in. I don't pencil you in for the play, because I don't pencil you in for the playoffs every year. I pencil you in for Mike Tomlin having a above 500 record. Above 500 does not mean playoffs. It was a time when, like Kansas City or Buffalo,
no kidding.
They pencil you in the playoffs, and they don't do that this year. They pencil in Baltimore to win your division, and they don't say you're going to be a wild card every year. So in that regard, it's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your team. Don't get your giraffe feathers ruffled over there. I'm not shooting shots. I'm saying that you've fallen back to where the Bears have slowly been trying to creep themselves out of. We're crawling out of the pit. It's okay. We'll find a wager, everybody, before we go. We are 3rd in the league. They 8-2. Not the Steelers. They 6-4. I predict 6-5. I encourage you all, if you like what was going on, go ahead and hit that like button. Tune in Sunday, as I will be on location as this game takes place, so that we can keep up live with the embarrassment known as the Steelers on the field. We're going to tease a debacle. A debacle, yeah. It sounds as good as 24-14. Nonetheless, I'm really going to hope that we could all pull up, have an enjoyable game, find a way that me and G Honda can go ahead and make this official before Sunday, and let's culminate this in a what we gonna put on. And my real co-host is in the background. In case any real backstory, in case anybody knows, because I think Pool Man or somebody said something in the background. I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. My frat brother is my co-host daily. He is here. And we about to partake in a whole bunch of chicanery, for lack of a better term. Won't lie to you. With that being said, he understands and knows what G Honda talks about with splash plays. Tune in as me and Chelsea are putting together a video for G Honda splash plays, as we will give you a true definition and look into what the NFL defines as an explosive play versus the tall giraffe standard of G Honda and what he classifies as not only a splash play, but a G Honda splash play. So we're going to delve into that one. Tune in, because I think we have a bit of a entertaining yet informative breakdown with me and Chelsea. If you haven't subscribed to either page, the Steelmatic Network, he building as he flying, but G Honda cover a large range of topics, health and wellness, a little bit of sports when he partakes with your boy, and reactions is going to be his thing. Still learning how to fly the plane, but the sports takes, I think, are going to be first class every time you tune into the page over here, Mailbox Sports. So like the comments, I should say, put me something in the comments. Subscribe to the page if you have not. Give me an email, mailboxsports3@yahoo.com. If anybody wants to subscribe in a financial capacity until we get monetized, go ahead and hit that Cash App, Mailbox Sports 3. Same handle. We will talk to you guys on Sunday. I will try to find a way in which, if I'm on location, to coordinate so that me and G Honda can watch the game together. If not, we both still going to watch this damn game. We're going to find a way to tap in, because I need y'all to know what's happening. Ebony Dean and everybody else who is going to be swinging that terrible towel. I know a bear that's gonna chew on it along with my dog.
We here live Sunday. We here live Sunday.
I'm.
What's up?
I'm already. So like I told you, I got guests in town. I'm trying to figure out the logistics of how they want to watch the game to get the best experience. We all are transplants, but we are Chicago fans. We don't get to watch the game together and totally be caroused. If it's a way for us to do it in house. Well, obviously in-house I can accommodate however I need to. But if not, I'm going to be on location at a bar near me. Things I don't do every day, to step outside the comfort zone and show somebody a good time while they're in the city that I call my home. With that,
there you go.
Absolutely going on. I appreciate SBC Nation for helping us to put together, hopefully, an entertaining and somewhat informative sports take for you. I know at times we may talk over each other. I think sport in itself gives us the opportunity at times to invoke emotion, and I know that's not something that male would typically want to elicit, but I think it is an emotional thing. Fanatic is the actual term, and that comes along with having no rhyme or reason, thus not having logic attached to it. It does at some point still give us the opportunity, whether he goes along with the terrible towel, whether he goes along with those monsters of the midway that are hungry, we can both have solace in knowing that we both on Sundays will be tuned in to something that brings us together, no matter if it's going to divide us for 1 week and 1 week only. With that being said, good luck to you, G Honda. Last time I'm going to say it, and the first time I'm going to mean it. I appreciate everybody. Mr. Walker. Hey, look, I don't got no nice sound effects and everything, and I don't have no salutes for the sponsors, but shout out to the Kings. Gonna put me on. Check that cash out. We will. I will check y'all Sunday. Hopefully, it'll be another dynamic duo so that we can get live reaction going to the game right there. Until then, and until next delivery, me and G Honda gonna go ahead and get out of this place so I can get to the next space. Salute to Jay Tillman also for giving me a little bit of a outro and an intro. If we haven't seen it, pardon the internet. We're working on things as we go, but we got to let y'all know how it goes out here. So I appreciate you all.
Showdown.